This is my testimony, part 3. Angels will lift you up. After high school, I joined the U.S. Navy and was sent on assignment overseas. Occasionally, the Navy will grant limited time away from the military unit. This is called leave. Well, in 1995, I was stationed at the NATO headquarters in Naples, Italy. I was granted 3 weeks of leave, so a buddy and I decided to go on a tour of Europe. I got a rental car and we headed north. It was a whirlwind tour with reckless driving speeds and long days. As our trip was winding down, though, we just focused on getting in the major sites and destinations. But on this particular day, we departed from Vienna, Austria, and headed towards Garmisch, Germany. There was no affordable GPS systems in those days, so maps and atlases were our only source of navigation. Our attempts to take the shortest route, sadly, it took us through some very treacherous back roads. We had taken some wrong turns along the way, and it was now 2 a.m. We were still more than an hour out, and to make matters worse, we were in the middle of the worst blizzard for that area in years. This blizzard actually made European headlines. It was so severe. It was my turn to drive, though, and even though I was exhausted, I didn't ask for help. We had just crusted over the mountain top. This mountain pass and began our descent. The road marker was obscured by snow, and visibility was terrible. Consequently, I did not know that I was supposed to make a sharp left turn. There were no guardrails, and we drove off the mountain. Weighing more than 1,000 pounds, this loaded-down European Opel station wagon drove straight off the German mountain road. At that point, time and space did something that I do not understand. The only way to describe what happened next was in the movies. When time slows down and the scene gets blurry, I looked down and there was no ground below. There was nothing below us, but the car drove as though there was. The mountain cliff was a sheer drop-off. I was amazed at how far down it was. The car did not shudder. It didn't fall. It didn't creak or do anything out of the ordinary. My friend was sound asleep over in the passenger seat, and all I could really do was firmly grip the steering wheel. I looked behind me to where the road should be, and just then I saw a car's headlight cut through the blizzard. Suddenly I knew that was my guide. I needed to follow that car. The space between us and the guide car appeared to be about 200 feet, and the snow, well, it appeared as though the surface was snow, but there wasn't anything there. None of that seemed to matter, though. My eyes were fixed on that car like a laser beam. I am scared of heights, but that's another story for another time. Normally I would cry out for fear, but somehow the only thing that occupied my thoughts was getting back on the road. I felt a longing to catch up to that car. I really wanted to talk to the people in the car. That desire was stronger than my fear somehow. I followed them closely all the way down the mountain, but as soon as we got down to safety, the guide car vanished. The blizzard raged on, and the snow was so deep that cars were getting stuck. Many vehicles succumbed to the deadly storm and became stranded in the snowdrifts. The snow was actually loudly scraping on the underside of our car too, and we were also about ready to give up. Then, an 18-wheeler came along and plowed the way for us all the way to the nearest town, and we made it safely to our destination that night. God's word is alive and powerful, for it is written, "He shall give his angels charge concerning you, and in their hands they shall bear you up, lest at any time you should dash your foot against a stone. All glory be to God, for he allowed me to be living proof that his word is true.